Hello Astrobro subscribers. Today I'm going to be talking about in a continuation of the North and South Node of the Moon series. I'm going to be talking about what happens when you have North Node in Taurus and South Node in Scorpio. For those who might not know what the North and South Node of the Moon are, they are points, mathematical points in the sky that reflect, like in the study of astrology, they reflect certain points of the human psyche in a way that is meaningful to people because it allows you to gain perspective on yourself in a dimension other than your physical body or your psychological body. We view astrology as a tool to understanding your astral body as a function of where you were born, not just on Earth, but where you were born in the context of the solar system and the universe. So, the North and South Node of the Moon are points related to the prediction of solar and lunar eclipses. They're the points on the Moon's orbit when it's closest to the Earth. And in astronomy, they can also be called the lunar pedigrees, northern and southern lunar pedigrees. So, that's what they are astronomically. In astrology, in the Vedic concepts, they're called Rahu and Ketu. In the Western version of astrology, they're called the ascending and descending nodes, or North and South Node of the Moon. And they are... mosquito. And they are related to your past lives. They're related to your mastery, your innate mastery, what you come into this life with. The skills you come into this life with are represented by the South Node of the Moon. And the North Node of the Moon, it represents the areas where you were weakest in a past life. And it has sort of a manic, obsessive, anxious, anxiety-ridden need to achieve those things and to become proficient in those things in a way that, in the opposite way of the South Node. The South Node is already good at those things. It doesn't feel a need to achieve. So these are two parts inside of everybody's personality. One is a master who is indifferent to those topics, and 180 degrees away in the opposite archetype, the opposite sign and house, is a novice who is anxious and ready to do anything necessary to gain status in that and proficiency in that field of life. So we're going to be talking about what happens when the North Node is in Taurus and the South Node is in Scorpio. Or alternatively, when the North Node is in the second house and the South Node is in the 8th house, you see a similar thing, because the second house corresponds to the sign of Taurus and the 8th house corresponds to the sign of Scorpio. So what happens here is these people have an innate appreciation for darkness, for tragedy, for change. Usually this gets reflected in their early life. They go through a lot of turmoil and a lot of pain and a lot of change in their early life, and they usually keep that a secret. So they've always got this secret, dark past to them that other people might feel, but they will never tell them. And sometimes people can be afraid of them because there's this repression that other people can feel, where they have a lot of secrets and memories because they've been through so much that other people sense that on an unconscious level, and they might be worried about it or concerned or something. But they probably won't talk about it. So that is the South Node in Scorpio. Now what happens with the South Node in Scorpio is because South Node kind of becomes more active in the sign of Scorpio. So for most people, like for instance, if South Node is in Libra, these people are going to be master negotiators, master manipulators, master relationship formers, but they're not necessarily going to be interested in that. Now, with the South Node in Scorpio, it creates a situation where these people will actively go into the areas that they mastered in their past life, because Scorpio is such a deep and intense sign that even the South Node, which feels like, well, I can't really master what's unknown by definition, because Scorpio represents all the things that are unknown in your psyche. So since you can't actually master that, the South Node looks around and it's like, well, I'm actually going to go back into this abyss and pull more things out, more secrets, more unknown information. Now, the North Node. The North Node is in Taurus, is in the sign related to material prosperity and success and food and music and money and all these things that are generally perceived as just pleasurable. What most people would consider good. But so basically these people, they use their tragedy in their past as fuel to accomplish the highest form of success, of material success. So they come from a place of where they were forced into sort of spiritual wisdom by constantly getting battered down by life. And that may be in their past life, it might be in their childhood as a reminder to them. And then when they come into this life, they don't want to deal with that pain. So what they do is they use those lessons that they gained, the painful lessons, and they seek success. They seek material, superficial, they seek to become beautiful, they seek to put all that behind them. Now, of course, you can't put uncertainty and chaos behind you because it's an ever-present reality. This does not stop them from trying, and ultimately, if these people are lucky, they attain a balance between the North and South Node where they attain success while also being able to deal with tragedy. The sort of suboptimal positions for the ending of this placement, or the acting out of this placement, are they either become overwhelmed by tragedy and live there in that darkness, and that's when you see people who are extremely resentful because they feel like they can never achieve success and they just got battered down by tragedy. Or you can see people who neglect the idea that tragedy even exists and it manifests in their life in unconscious ways while they're materially, superficially very successful. So these people have a lot of sexual energy. They are very attractive to other people. Other people feel that darkness, but they also feel the raw pleasure of Taurus. And generally, people are they might deal with a lot of unwanted attention from people. They might, if this person is a girl, they'll probably experience, I've seen a lot of girls with this placement have experiences with like bad guys, like really dark characters like drug dealers and stuff. They have to learn that lesson often, not to do that. And hopefully they won't get stuck there, but, obviously some people do, and we all know who those people are. I'm not telling you that to scare you, just know that if you have that placement, you should probably make a conscious effort to avoid sort of criminal people. And for guys too, you can end up with a really antisocial, emotionally abusive girl sometimes, to learn the lesson of what you don't want in terms of pleasure and success, because that would not be considered by most people's circumstances a successful relationship. So that was my analysis of the South Node in the sign of Scorpio, or in the 8th house, and the North Node in the sign of Taurus in the 2nd house. Basically, it's the transmutation of tragedy and chaos into order and success, ideally, while still maintaining the notion that tragedy exists and you have to deal with that. So yeah, that's what that sign represents.